Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video. So, I wanted to make this video for like a while now, but I couldn't really do since I was kind of busy and lazy. But now I have the time to, and this video is all about what we know about 0.37. We'll go through what we know and what I think we added in. So, let's start with what we know now. For the first teaser, we have this. It might not be known at first, but if you look at the title, the squeak peak, the hamster icon, then this is the hamster wheel remake. I say remake if you compare it to the old one, because yeah, it looks kind of trash. So this is the remake though. It's the stand and the wheel. But most importantly, there was a tire in the middle that was like made to of course, turn the main wheel itself. But if you see in the back, there's a big motor right there, and this motor actually has more uses than this show, which will be shown very soon. But anyways, with this known, let's go to the second one. This one here is a little bit of a meme. It's like, they hate this trick, and it's like no auto repairs, so this thing could probably fix frames, what the title says. What this thing is was unclear at first, but the next teaser, it shows everything. This one has spinny thing. I call it the spinny thing because it doesn't have an official name yet, so I call it the spinny thing. This thing is made out of metal, it's blue, has a hitch connection in front, so it can connect your hitches and spin you around, hinting this is the other teaser-ish that was warped around. Also shows you can also spin with the circle plate in the bottom. But not only that though, over there is the motor again. So this motor has multiple uses and multiple parts, or molded parts. This is the indication that these parts are actually going to be now molded, which is going to be very exciting, honestly. But this isn't all we have. There is something that is very exciting. Take a watch. As you can see, that was the Gravel Grand Marshal, but very extended. You know what that means when it's extended? That's a limo. Limos are usually extended, so that's a limo we have here. But this isn't the last time we've seen that though, trust me. You know how I know it's a Gravel Marshal? If you look at the front, it has that lip and that headlight. So it is clearly a Gravel Grand Marshal. Anyways, time for the next teaser. This is a continuation of the spinny thing. The spinny thing, that's a funny name honestly. Anyways, the spinny thing's controls are now here. As you see, there's controls for the left and right sides, probably for turning. There's engine RPM, so the motor has a big play. There's temperature, there's fuel, and there's another thing that's kind of blocked. So, only guess what that is. Me, I have no idea. There's also a fuel shut-off button, a start button, and a keychain. Yeah, so you turn the machine on, you press start, and you turn with the levers. And if something goes wrong, you can push the fuel shut-off and avoid a catastrophe. But if you notice something, there's a little bit of a thing on that keychain. That keychain looks familiar, does it? An ornament. You'll get into that later. Now, if more on the next teaser, we have a bastion in front of a crashed truck. Now, there might be nothing at first, but if you look at the title, it says your brake lights are jealous now. At first, I didn't know what this was, but if you look closer at the wheels, the brakes are glowing orange, like they're now just cooling down. Some people say it's new lights in the front, but if that's the case, then why would there be a crashed truck? If there's a crashed truck, do you have to stop? And this thing's brakes are now just cooling down. So, this is clearly an indication of Break Glow, a feature that everyone's been asking for, now finally being delivered in 0.37. But that's not all. We still have more stuff to continue on, including this. The Department of Kinetic Energy Conversion has been doing some tests. In the video, it is 4 cars following, but the sunburst was saved by something that's covered by Newton's geometry. Whatever it is, could be anything though. People say it's a trampoline, some say it's an inflated air mat. Does anyone use it then? I don't know. But anyways, this thing actually saves vehicles at a high altitude, so it could be useful for saving cars. I mean, that's what it actually does. But anyways, so that was one, but then we have this teaser, which is the most confusing one. The thing is called Thingamajig Department has found of Zen, which Zen is basically peace in Japan culture. And it's this. It's like bubbles flying in the air with a car like in front of it, like near the camera, like witnessing all this. But if you look closer, there is something inside one of those bubbles. What they are is probably like, I don't know, some like anti-gravity bubbles. Maybe those there for fun, like peace thing. Maybe they can be used for like, haha, we can do this, watch this. Maybe it's like a physics thing. I don't know. But we have another teaser that's a little more interesting and confusing at the same time. And it's simply titled, "You Just Asked for Feedback," crying emoji. Which at first it was confusing for me. And in the picture, there is multiple things happening. I'll break them down one by one. The first one that catches my eye is this pink thing with arrows pointing at a circle, which might be like a trigger point or something. Thing on the bottom is, I have no idea what that is. It's kind of abstracted by the Work in Progress banner. It's, I have no idea what it is. And there's 4 question marks. So even they don't know either. Also this geometry thing. But the most important thing here, the one car that has the word "I'm speed" on it, if you zoom in closer. We also get like a very poorly drawn police car. Chasing behind the fast car in front. Probably trying to be as detailed but not as obvious as possible. But the main attraction is a thing in the middle of the screen. And it's just like a panel thing. It's a rectangle with a pad on top and some divisions in the middle. Some people say it's a spike strip. Some people call it something else. To me, I have no idea, but maybe it's something that would be very useful for the police. Like, that's probably what it is. Like, police and a thing with like spike strip is needed to stop this car. Probably what it is actually. So yeah, that makes sense actually when you think about it more. But now we have the biggest one yet. The teaser of the Gravel Grand Marshal, which is at first might be like just the original Grand Marshal, but the thing is though, if you look at the back, there are multiple windows, and you know, but there's no car that's like as long with all these multiple windows though, besides the Roma, but ignore that. This is the second teaser of the Grand Marshal limousine. The length is right there. You can see how long it's gonna be. This is a different trim because the gravel symbol is moved to a different side instead of being in the middle. So this means this must be a luxury version though. Of course, this might look like this regular one though, but this definitely gonna be like multiple configurations of this thing, guaranteed without a doubt. Maybe there'll be like a short one and like a long one like this one. But hey, this will be interesting though. But now let's go back to what I was talking about. Remember that thing I was talking about, like that little orange thing that looked familiar? Well, this is what I think it might be. It's a motor-powered roller remaster. Basically, this thing could probably be remastered as like teasing like something extra. And it looks exactly like the roller too. But I think it probably become motorized. This motor thing was inspired by that spinny thing with controls. Since well, if it's like the thing was T-steel, it would be. It also have controls too. Of course, ignore how bad it looks. Honestly, I tried my best to make it look good enough. It has the same control stone, the stop, the starts, the spinny thing. Also panels to access the motor too. This could probably hint like motor-powered roller without telling. This would be like a little secret one. A little secret remaster coming with this update. Be very cool, honestly. More props getting modded and remastered. But not only that though, here's another thing that could also become modded too. The cannon. Though this might be a little bit harder since the thing's kind of huge though, but it could probably make sense to being propelled by nothing but the thing that shoots out the vehicle, as demonstrated here. This could probably have like a piston that shoots things out, like more motors to be making this thing move forward though. This thing could probably be one of the biggest mechanical things in the game if it becomes like motor powered. But of course it wouldn't be just that. There would be some car content too. And here's one that could probably be included. This is the Bishu Hopper Refresh, where it gets like new lights, like to match with the modern ones we have now, and an extra configuration, like a van configuration, because well, why not though? This thing could give it some more like life. It'd be really cool to have like a truck variant or like a van variant of itself though. Don't know how realistic that would be though, but it'd be pretty nice to have that. And on top of the refreshes, we have the SBR4 refresh. Of course, ignore how bad the headlights look. I kinda like try to make it look good enough, but new lights and maybe like more configurations that are like extremely wild though. Can you imagine that? That would be pretty cool, honestly. Now, here's one that could be interesting to add. A winch system for 0.37. The dev showed that there was a system for the winch in the Divide to like help with off-roading though, but they're not happy with it, so they want to like keep making it good enough so they can release it to the public though. Yeah, I think they might be able to do this though. Or like the things like good enough to be released to the public so it can be on trailers or vehicles. They hook on things and keep them stable. That's what I think though. It could be anything though, but hey, it'll be cool to have this here 0.37. Now, when do I think it's gonna come out? I honestly think it's gonna come out in Saturday. That's just my guess. But anyways, if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Anyways, bye bye, and I'll see you later.